The world of romantic relationships has changed drastically over the past few decades. Today, we live in an era where the dynamics between men and women have completely transformed. In this landscape, there is a fundamental concept that few men truly understand: emotional detachment. This is the secret that separates ordinary men from true alphas, those who naturally attract attention, respect, and female appreciation. The reality is that women can instantly perceive when a man is emotionally dependent. It's like a sixth sense they possess, an almost intuitive ability to identify when you are completely surrendered, when your emotional value is entirely dependent on their approval. Unfortunately, this perception drastically reduces your attractiveness in the eyes of women. Think of detachment not as coldness or indifference, but as emotional freedom. It's the ability to maintain your essence intact, regardless of a woman's presence or absence in your life. It means understanding that your value as a man neither increases nor decreases based on who is by your side. This mentality is powerful because it sends a clear message: you are okay with yourself. Ironically, this is one of the most attractive qualities a man can demonstrate. In today's relationship market, there is a glaring scarcity of truly alpha men. Many label themselves as alpha, but few actually embody the necessary characteristics to be recognized as such. The difference lies in behavior, not words. A genuine alpha man doesn't need to say he's alpha. His actions, posture, and energy communicate it naturally. Women, for their part, are constantly seeking these rare men. Those who demonstrate genuine confidence, natural leadership, and above all, emotional stability. These men stand out in a sea of insecure and emotionally dependent suitors. That's why, when they find a man who embodies these qualities, they naturally value him more. There is a fascinating psychological mechanism behind this phenomenon. Women often test men through subconscious power games. Have you ever noticed how some women simply disappear for a few days? Or how they drastically reduce the frequency of messages? These behaviors are rarely random. They are tests. Tests to see how you react to uncertainty, lack of attention, and the possibility of loss. Most men miserably fail these tests. They panic, start sending desperate messages, asking what they did wrong, begging for attention. This behavior, though, understandable from an emotional standpoint, signals insecurity and dependence, the exact opposite of what a high-value woman seeks in a partner. Alpha-level detachment means responding to these tests with calm and confidence. When a woman disappears, you don't chase after her. You continue living your life, investing in your goals, staying busy with your purpose. This behavior communicates a powerful message. You don't depend on her emotionally to feel complete or validated. To truly understand the power of detachment, it's necessary to comprehend the different types of women you might interact with. There are basically three main categories: those who play emotional games, those who genuinely value themselves, and those who show interest only to manipulate. The first type, those who play emotional games, are the most common in today's relationship landscape. They deliberately create inconsistencies in interactions, alternating between moments of great interest and periods of distancing. It's as if they are constantly checking how invested you are, how willing you are to pursue them. The key to dealing with this type of woman is to remain emotionally balanced, never allowing your mood or self-esteem to fluctuate based on her behavior. The second type consists of women who genuinely value themselves. They know exactly what they want and are clear about their feelings and intentions. With these women, the game is different. They seek equally self-assured men, capable of direct and honest communication. Detachment here doesn't mean playing games, but rather maintaining your integrity and authenticity, demonstrating that you are secure enough to be genuine. The third type, unfortunately more common than many would like to admit, are women who have no genuine interest but maintain a facade of interest to manipulate emotionally. They may be seeking validation, attention, or simply using you as a backup option while exploring other possibilities. Detachment is crucial here. It allows you to quickly identify these patterns and distance yourself before investing time and energy in a relationship with no future. Maintaining a mature and balanced stance in the face of uncertainties is essential for any man who wishes to be valued. When a woman demonstrates inconsistent behavior, The worst possible reaction is to respond with excessive emotion. Complaints, accusations, displays of jealousy or insecurity are behaviors that instantly push away a high-value woman. Instead, the ideal response is to remain calm and centered. If she disappears, don't send multiple messages asking where she is or what happened. Wait for her to return, and when she does, respond politely and maturely, without showing that her absence caused any significant emotional disturbance. This stance not only preserves your dignity, but exponentially increases your attractiveness in her eyes. One of the most common mistakes among men is premature emotional attachment. Many fall madly in love with a woman before even establishing a solid and reciprocal connection. They create unrealistic expectations, imagine a future together, and begin planning their lives around someone who, in reality, hasn't yet demonstrated equivalent commitment. Emotional detachment allows you to avoid this trap. When you're not emotionally dependent on the outcome of an interaction or relationship, you can more clearly assess whether that person truly adds value to your life. You make decisions based on your own well-being and growth, not on the desperation to keep someone by your side at any cost. Investing in personal development is perhaps the most important aspect of becoming a high-value man. This encompasses various areas: physical health through regular exercise and proper nutrition, mental health through learning, meditation, and self-awareness, social skills by learning to communicate effectively, and diverse interests that enrich your life regardless of being in a relationship. A man who is constantly evolving, who strives to be better today than he was yesterday, naturally exudes high-value energy. Women are instinctively attracted to men who are progressing, who demonstrate healthy ambition and determination. It's not just about material achievements, but a mindset of continuous growth that is reflected in all aspects of life. Self-confidence is the central pillar of the alpha stance. Don't confuse self-confidence with arrogance. The former comes from within, based on a real understanding of your abilities and limitations, while the latter is a mask to hide insecurities. True self-confidence is calm. It doesn't need to be announced or displayed. It simply exists and is perceptible in the way you carry yourself, speak, and interact with the world. Through personal development and the practice of detachment, you naturally strengthen your self-confidence. When you know who you are, what you want, and are consistently working to achieve your goals, you create a solid foundation that no one can shake. This emotional stability is extremely attractive to women who seek partners capable of navigating life's storms without losing their way. Effective communication is another essential characteristic of an alpha man. This doesn't just mean speaking well, but primarily knowing how to listen. The ability to listen attentively, without interrupting, making snap judgments, or needing to impose opinions is a rare and valuable skill. It demonstrates genuine respect and interest in what the other person has to say, creating a space of trust and deep connection. Emotional intelligence, closely linked to effective communication, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as perceive and influence the emotions of others. A man with high emotional intelligence knows when a woman is insecure, even if she doesn't verbalize it. He can identify subtle signs of discomfort or anxiety and respond appropriately, offering security or space depending on what the situation requires. Setting clear boundaries is one of the hallmarks of an alpha man. Boundaries are not barriers to keep people away, but guidelines that communicate how you wish to be treated. A man without boundaries is like a country without borders. Anyone can enter, take what they want, and leave without consequences. Establishing and maintaining healthy boundaries demonstrates self-respect and, paradoxically, creates a safer space for deep and meaningful relationships. Mutual respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. As an alpha man, you should not only demand respect, but also offer it generously. This means respecting your partner's opinions, feelings, personal space, and decisions, even when you disagree with them. Genuine respect is unconditional. It doesn't depend on her acting according to your expectations or desires. Managing realistic expectations is crucial in the world of relationships. Many men enter relationships with idealized expectations based on movies, TV shows, or stories they've heard. They expect perfection, total compatibility, and the absence of conflicts. Reality, as we know, is very different. All relationships face challenges, periods of distancing, and moments of conflict. An alpha man understands this and doesn't expect a fairy tale, but rather a real journey with ups and downs that is worthwhile precisely because of its authenticity. Accepting imperfections, both yours and hers, is part of this realistic mindset. No one is perfect, and trying to hide your vulnerabilities or demanding perfection from the other only creates an environment of tension and falsehood. Imperfection, when accepted with humility and good humor, humanizes and brings people closer. A man who can laugh at his own mistakes and accept others with understanding demonstrates rare confidence and maturity. Finding the balance between availability and detachment is perhaps one of the most challenging aspects for an alpha man. You want to show interest and investment without appearing desperate or without options. The key lies in the consistency and quality of attention, not in the quantity. When you're with her, be 100% present. No distractions, no phone, genuinely interested and engaged. When you're apart, continue living your full life without constantly checking messages or being available 24/7. This balance creates a healthy space where both can breathe and maintain their individuality while building something meaningful together. The woman feels valued by the quality of attention she receives and simultaneously respected for having her personal space preserved. Emotional resilience is another indispensable quality for any alpha man. Love life, like other aspects of life, inevitably brings challenges, rejections, and disappointments. An emotionally resilient man doesn't crumble in the face of these obstacles. He sees them as opportunities for learning and growth. When a relationship ends, instead of falling into despair or bitterness, he reflects on the experience, extracts lessons, and moves forward, wiser and stronger. This ability to bounce back quickly is deeply attractive to women who admire men capable of facing adversities without losing their composure. It demonstrates an inner strength that goes beyond external circumstances, an emotional anchor that can offer security in turbulent times. Authenticity is the antidote to manipulation and games that permeate the world of modern relationships. In an era where many men try to be what they're not, following formulas and scripts to impress, the simple courage to be authentic immediately sets you apart. Women have a keen radar for detecting falseness, and nothing is more refreshing than meeting someone who is genuinely themselves, without masks or characters. Being authentic doesn't mean exposing all your insecurities on the first date or ignoring basic social conventions. It means aligning your words with your actions, your values with your choices, and not pretending to be someone you're not just to please or impress. Integrity, closely linked to authenticity, is about staying true to your principles and values, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. It's about keeping your promises, being honest even when the truth is uncomfortable, and treating people with respect regardless of what you might gain from them. A man with integrity is trustworthy and predictable in the best sense of the word, not because he's boring, but because he's consistent in his character. In the age of instant availability, where text messages and social media create an illusion of permanent connection, true detachment becomes even more powerful. Many men fall into the trap of always being available, responding to messages in seconds, canceling plans to meet a woman's desires, essentially rearranging their lives to fit hers. This behavior, far from demonstrating admirable dedication, communicates low value and a lack of personal purpose. An alpha man maintains his schedule, commitments, and priorities. He is emotionally available when present, but doesn't sacrifice his personal path to please or chase a woman. Paradoxically, this selective unavailability makes him much more desirable in the eyes of women. Considering the power games that frequently occur in the early stages of a relationship, it's important to develop a deep understanding of female psychology. Women, consciously or unconsciously, seek men who represent a challenge, not an artificial challenge created by manipulative games, but the natural challenge that arises when a man has a rich life and purposes beyond conquering her. When you, Demonstrate that your happiness and fulfillment don't depend on her. You create an interesting dynamic. She begins to wonder, what makes this man so secure? Why isn't he desperate for my attention like the others? This curiosity often turns into attraction, leading her to invest more effort in getting to know and conquering him. A powerful technique to cultivate emotional detachment is to diversify your sources of satisfaction. Many men place all the weight of their happiness on a relationship, expecting a single person to satisfy all their emotional, social, and even purposeful needs. This is a recipe for dependence and mutual frustration. An alpha man cultivates multiple sources of satisfaction, deep friendships with other men, hobbies that challenge and energize him, meaningful work that makes him feel useful and valued, spiritual practices that nurture his soul. When you have this abundance of well-being sources, no woman has the power to determine your emotional state. You can fully enjoy her presence and connection without the desperation of someone who fears losing her because they have nothing else. The abundance mindset, as opposed to the scarcity mindset, is fundamental for alpha-level detachment. The scarcity mindset makes you desperately cling to the first woman who shows interest, treating her as if she were the last emotional connection opportunity you'll have. This desperate attitude inevitably leads to needy and suffocating behavior that drives high-value women away. The abundance mindset, on the other hand, recognizes that we live in a world of infinite possibilities. There are thousands of women compatible with you, with whom you could build a healthy and satisfying relationship. This understanding frees you from the fear of losing the one, allowing you to be selective and patient, choosing to relate only with women who truly add value to your life. One of the most distinctive characteristics of an alpha man is his natural leadership ability. Leadership in relationships doesn't mean control or domination, but rather the willingness to take initiative, make plans, solve problems, and assume responsibility. Women are instinctively attracted to men who demonstrate these qualities, not because they want to be controlled, but because they seek partners capable of navigating life's challenges with confidence and determination. Leading in a relationship also means setting the emotional tone. When you maintain your emotional balance in the face of drama or crises, you create a space where she can also find calm and security. Your stability becomes an anchoring point, a beacon that guides the relationship boat through turbulent waters. Alpha level detachment also manifests in your ability to accept the end of a relationship with dignity and maturity when necessary. Many men cling to clearly dysfunctional or one-sided relationships out of fear of loneliness or ego. They don't want to be the one who was left. An alpha man recognizes when a relationship has naturally come to an end, whether due to fundamental incompatibility, changing life goals, or simply because the feeling has shifted. When this happens, he doesn't beg, threaten, or try to manipulate emotionally to keep the person. He accepts reality with maturity, thanks her for the good times, learns from the experience, and moves forward with his dignity intact. This behavior not only preserves his self-esteem, but often leaves the ex-partner with respect and admiration, keeping the possibility of future reconciliation open if it makes sense for both, or, at the very least, an amicable separation. Another crucial aspect of alpha detachment is financial independence. Nothing quickly destroys your status as a man of value, like material dependence on a woman. Having your finances in order, living within your means, and ideally building wealth progressively are essential elements to maintain your leadership and respect. This doesn't mean you need to be rich, but rather responsible and confident in your financial aspect. Financial independence gives you the freedom to make decisions based on your values and desires, not on need or fear. It allows you to say no when necessary, set clear boundaries, and if needed, walk away from toxic situations without the terror of having nowhere to go or how to support yourself. The way you manage silences and pauses in communication says a lot about your level of emotional detachment. When a woman doesn't respond immediately, or when there's a natural period of silence between you, your reaction reveals much about your inner state. An insecure man panics with silence, interpreting it as rejection or disinterest. He sends multiple messages, each more anxious than the last, essentially sabotaging any attraction that might exist. An alpha-detached man is comfortable with silence. He understands that people have busy lives, that sometimes it takes time to process emotions, or simply that not everything requires an immediate response. He respects that space and continues with his life without obsessing over the lack of communication. When she eventually responds, he replies in a friendly and engaged manner, without complaints or displays of insecurity. Responding to behavioral tests is another powerful indicator of your level of detachment. Women, consciously or unconsciously, regularly test men to check their confidence and value. These tests can come in the form of provocation, seemingly innocuous requests that actually check your willingness to prioritize her, or even deliberately annoying behaviors to see how you respond to frustration. A man with low emotional detachment fails these tests because he responds reactively. He gets irritated, panics, or completely capitulates, abandoning his principles to please her. An alpha man recognizes these tests for what they are and responds with humor, gentle firmness, or simply ignores the behavior when appropriate, depending on the specific situation. It's important to highlight that alpha-level detachment is not about manipulation or emotional games. It's not about pretending indifference to provoke jealousy or insecurity. This approach might work temporarily with emotionally immature women, but inevitably leads to dysfunctional and emotionally exhausting relationships. True detachment is authentic. It comes from a place of inner abundance and self-awareness, not from tricks or techniques. The difference between playing games and having genuine detachment is your internal motivation. If you're deliberately ignoring messages to create anxiety, you're playing games. If you're living your life focused on your goals and responding when it's convenient for you, without anxiety or manipulative strategy, you're demonstrating genuine detachment. Women intuitively sense this difference, even if they can't exactly articulate what they're perceiving. A fundamental characteristic of an alpha man is his ability to make decisions with clarity and confidence. Many men, in an attempt to please or avoid conflict, abdicate this responsibility, constantly asking, "What do you want to do?" or "Where do you want to go?" without ever expressing their own preferences or taking the initiative. This behavior, though it might seem superficially considerate, actually conveys insecurity and a lack of leadership. A man with alpha detachment doesn't fear expressing his opinions or taking the lead when necessary. He makes concrete suggestions, plans dates creatively, and shows consideration for her preferences without abandoning his own identity or decision-making capacity. This balance between consideration and assertiveness is extremely attractive to women who seek a partner, not a follower. Healthy management of attention is another essential component of alpha-level detachment. Many men, especially at the beginning of a relationship, make the mistake of focusing all their attention and energy on the woman, treating her as the center of the universe. They bombard her with messages, constant compliments, and unlimited availability, mistakenly believing that this exclusive dedication will demonstrate their value. In reality, this behavior has the opposite effect. It devalues your attention by making it cheap and abundant while simultaneously communicating that you don't have much else going on in your life. An alpha man distributes his attention in a balanced way across various important aspects: work, friendships, hobbies, personal development, and yes, romantic relationships. His attention is valuable precisely because it's limited and directed with purpose. The ability to be comfortably alone is perhaps one of the clearest indicators of healthy emotional detachment. Many men fear loneliness, using relationships as an escape from their own inner void. They jump from one relationship to another, unable to face the silence and introspection that come with periods of solitude. This fear is noticeable and repels high-value women who seek men who are complete on their own, not incomplete projects seeking salvation. An alpha man cultivates a rich relationship with himself. He appreciates moments of solitude, using them for reflection, learning, rest, and self-care. He has a vibrant inner life and doesn't constantly rely on external validation or entertainment. This ability to enjoy his own company not only makes him a more attractive partner, but also tremendously enriches his quality of life, whether or not he's in a relationship. The way you manage your previous relationships also says a lot about your level of emotional detachment. Many men carry resentments, hurts, or even obsessions over ex-partners, allowing ended relationships to continue occupying significant emotional space in their lives. Some constantly badmouth their exes, others idealize them by comparing all new women to them, and some maintain contact in the secret hope of reconciliation. A man with alpha-level detachment fully processes his past experiences, extracting valuable lessons and letting go of the rest. He doesn't obsessively talk about ex-partners, demonize or idealize them, and maintains a neutral or positive stance when mentioning them when relevant. This emotional maturity is extremely attractive to quality women who recognize the rarity of a man who is emotionally free from past baggage. The way you handle rejection is another powerful manifestation of your level of detachment. Rejection is inevitable in love life. Not every woman you're interested in will reciprocate your feelings, and that's completely normal. A man with low emotional detachment reacts to rejection with anger, self-pity, or inappropriate insistence, all reactions that confirm the woman made the right choice in rejecting him. An alpha man accepts rejection with grace and maturity. He understands that romantic compatibility is specific and not a reflection of his value as a person. When rejected, he simply thanks her for the time shared and moves forward without drama or resentment. This ability to accept no as an answer demonstrates genuine self-confidence and respect for the other person's feelings and autonomy. In the context of modern relationships, it's essential to understand the difference between pursuing and attracting. Many men operate in pursuit mode. They identify a woman they're interested in and immediately start chasing her, bombarding her with attention, gifts, and efforts to impress. This approach rarely works with high-value women, who are accustomed to receiving this type of attention regularly. A man with alpha-level detachment primarily operates in attraction mode. He invests in himself, in his appearance, intelligence, career, humor, and character. He creates a life so interesting and satisfying that women naturally want to be part of it. When he interacts with a woman he's interested in, he shows genuine appreciation, but without the desperation or urgency typical of a pursuer. He invites, doesn't chase. He attracts, doesn't hunt. An often overlooked but extremely important area is a man's ability to maintain deep and meaningful friendships with other men. Many men, especially when entering a relationship, allow their male friendships to deteriorate, putting all their emotional investment into the partner. This is a trap that leads to excessive emotional dependence and, ironically, overwhelms the romantic relationship. A man with alpha-level detachment maintains a solid network of male friendships. He sets aside regular time for these bonds, shares experiences, seeks and offers support when needed. These connections provide not only fun and camaraderie, but also valuable perspectives, support during tough times, and a space for emotional processing that doesn't rely solely on the partner. High-value women recognize the importance of these friendships and respect a man who cultivates them. The relationship with technology and social media also reflects your level of emotional detachment. Many men fall into the trap of obsessively checking the online status of a woman they're interested in, analyzing who she follows or likes, and trying to decipher hidden messages in her posts. This behavior demonstrates insecurity and low value, in addition to consuming mental energy that could be directed toward productive activities.